this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Wednesday, December 2nd. And the moon moves into Virgo today. So our sun is in Sagittarius. Saturn is in Sagittarius. Mercury is in Sagittarius, right? Then we've got Chiron conjunct with Pisces. Mutable energy. Lots and lots of mutable energy. I need to define mutable energy to you. That quality is very important to understand because mutable energy is difficult to contain. It's difficult to understand for people, God help me, who are like me. So I am a Leo on the cusp of Cancer. So emotion motivates me and fire, fixed energy does. So for people who are like that, shifty energy is very unnerving. Now, for people who are like Geminis, Virgos, and Sagittarius, mutable energy is invigorating. It's stimulating. It's mentally engaging energy. And so for you guys, it's going to be fracking fabulous. You're going to feel very exhilarated. You're going to feel like you understand the energy for once in the universe, and that for the most part, you feel like you are on the energy is supporting you. For people who are emotion-based, this energy is going to feel downright uncontrollable. It's going to feel like rapids. It's going to feel like waves of the ocean getting extremely out of control, and it's to the point to where it's like you want to hide. You don't even like this energy. When the tides come in and it moves into the beaches, it brings a lot of food and stimulation for the ocean, but it's also a time of turbulence for the animals that are on the reefs. And then when the tide moves out, then it makes them vulnerable, right? And so there is that medium time where for any water-based energy, where they like the tides to not be too far out, but not to be completely all the way in and engulfed in the chaos of the ocean, beneath the ocean. And that is what it's going to feel like for you, sweet little water-based energies. It's going to feel like chaos and erratic energy, and it's going to be very unpredictable, which makes you want to go and go into your shell. And since I'm right along with you, because for the most part, all my primary degrees, I think I'm like barely a Leo. I'm barely a Leo. So I'm pretty much Cancer based. And so when erratic energy, when there's too much mutable energy for me, I lay low, sweet chariot. I do not like to go out because I don't understand instability. I just don't. I make very decisive decisions. So for those of you, I think accepting today is going to be very different for the elements that control you. Hopefully, you have a really great balance of, like, I have a Gemini rising. So these elements, these mutable elements, I get for the most part, but I would not make a long-term decision on them because I know that they could drastically shift tomorrow or in an hour. So let me describe to you what mutable energy is, because I think it's important to, and I should have done it when all of this energy started shifting in to Sagittarius, because I believe that it really could have helped you understand why the energy has been what it has been. So high vibration of mutable energy, and there is a beautiful high vibration to it. For one, adaptability. Extremely adaptable. If you have mutable energy, then guess what? There's not a lot that can come your way that you won't be able to adapt to. Probably the best quality of every single mutable energy is the fact that they're so willing to go with the flow. flexibility. Flexibility with these people are big, and so genuinely people pleasing. Like they don't. There's not a need to stand tall and stand firm, like fixed fire energy. There's not a need to retaliate if they don't get their way. Like they just blow their wind somewhere else if they don't, because, that's part of the charm of the energy. Resourceful, compromise, extremely easy. They're interested in keeping the peace because for the most part, genuinely, they don't have a fixed opinion, so other people's opinions are easy to adapt to and can easily be validated in their minds because usually they're a pretty intellectual energy and can see all sides and see the reason to adapt. They do have a chameleon quality to them. Many of the people adapt to their environment. So I don't know if you've ever seen a real life chameleon, but if they're on a branch, they turn brown. If they're on a leaf, they turn green. If they're on a branch and a leaf, they can turn part brown and part green. Very, very typical of mutable energy. So, is it hard to make structured lifelong decisions with people that have these qualities? Absolutely. Because they're going to change. They're going to change all the time. And it can be very frustrating for you to it's just so frustrating for fixed energy. I can attest to that. I've loved somebody completely with all my heart dearly who has multiple energies in Gemini. Shifty, drastically changing, adaptable. So thank God I have a Gemini rising. I've been able to adapt to their energy and not let it consume me, because this can be very consuming energy for people who aren't able, who need control over others, need control over energy, and more importantly, need control to feel stable. Like this is very scary energy. They're quick-witted, great in conversations, charming. They have an angelic, innocent quality to them that is very stimulating. But more importantly, the peacekeeping quality of these people, I completely respect. Low vibration of mutable energy, let's get it out of the way. That people-pleasing quality can make them be like clay. So they're not exactly authentic. But to keep the peace or to keep somebody happy, they will mold their clay or mold their behaviors or mold the conversations into acceptable, responsive behavior. They're looking at the person that they're talking to, and they can literally mold themselves and make themselves a chameleon to be what that person idealizes. However, authentically, that's not what they are. I don't think they do this as deception. I think they genuinely do this as part of their personality. It's no different than a fixed energy being action-oriented and very decisive. It's no different than it's no different than a water quality being a person that is highly emotional. You can't take these qualities out of a part of a sign. You can't make them be decisive when naturally they're supposed to be adaptable. They're supposed to be a chameleon. I can't take a chameleon, right? A chameleon lizard and say, you know what? You can only be green. No, they can't. They can't at all. So, super critical of others because they're so used to analyzing behavior, so used to looking at who they need to adapt to, that they can be overly critical about others just simply because they have studied enough behavior to have that ability. Like they're the ultimate psychologist. I mean, they really are. Or people that study human behavior, they're incredible at it because that's what they do every day of their life. they're they the really low side of the vibration is they don't have an identity. Their identity, they often wrap up in others. So for many of them, the way that they identify themselves is simply being a chameleon. And they've learned that that is the way, and that can be through growing up, the way that they grew up. Maybe they grew up with either overly emotional parents, or they grew up with very fixed energies that were unwilling to validate their opinions. So what they learned to do was just be what everybody wanted them to be. So that's mutable energy. And the reason that I talk a lot about this is because today we have a very, very, very mutable day. So if you can understand the perspective and the qualities of mutable energy, then what you can do is you can start to you can start to look at your behavior and stay in the highest vibration of it. If you're a fixed energy, then you know that if you have all of this erratic energy pulling you in all these different ways, and there seems to be inconsistency in behavior and opinion, and inconsistency in validating your sources, or maybe there's such erratic energy that you're just frustrated. For you can go, mutable day. Mutable energy day, need to be somewhat of a chameleon today. Even if I can't technically be, I need to understand that that is the quality that we're experiencing today. So, the moon is going to be in Virgo. Our emotions are going to be in immutable quality. Our sun is going to be in Sagittarius, mutable quality, very dualistic quality. Saturn is going to be in Sagittarius, and then we have, of course, Neptune and Pisces, and even Venus and Mars are in Libra. And these people, Libran energy, the way that they align themselves often, at least to make a decision, is to align themselves with some partner that has a more stable quality than they do. It's a very indecisive energy because Libran energy is always considering pros and cons. So much so they can see both sides equally. It's a highly indecisive energy. So what does that say for today? I wouldn't even make a decision today, because the people that you're talking to or trying to make decisions with, I don't think they fracking know what they're doing. Or maybe there's some more information, or maybe there's more pros and cons to figure out, but it is very crazy. So today the moon is going to square off with the sun and Saturn. So we have this moon that's extremely sensitive and very, very, very skeptical in this energy. And then we have the sun in Sagittarius. Sun in Sagittarius, even though it is a very fire-based energy, it's very mutable in that, meaning that it's the kind of fire that blows where the wind is. Okay, so wherever that fire, that desire comes from, is where you're probably going to want to point your desires in. And so if it stimulates you enough, you'll go that way. But inevitably, that may not be the way that you should be going. So you may be unable to control your emotions today, and you may experience some sort of delay in getting what you desire. That's highly possible today because of Saturn squaring off with your moon and your sun. You know, Saturn is squaring energy. It's limitation. It's restriction. It's control. Saturn is trying to control mutable energy in your sun, in your moon, and in your heart and in your fantasy. It has a big job to do, and it's probably not going to do it all that successfully because this is very overstimulated energy, very, very overstimulated, which is why we're going to pull it down. Saturn's in a fracking mood. Saturn's is like, F this sugar daddy, like I'm kicking a little ass. I'm throwing up a block here, and I'm throwing up a limitation here. And you know what? I'm making logical thinking over here, you fracking crazy ass energy. Honestly, that's what it's doing. So you have a big, wise teacher trying to make logic out of illogical energy. I'm sorry. It's crazy. I know, and I'm Gemini, and I get it. There are times when I can't even make sense out of myself. And I've been living with myself for 45 fracking years, dude. So, we have the Sun in Sagittarius, which is, of course, conjunct with Saturn and conjunct with Mercury. What? The way that you think is in Sagittarian energy, the way that you process everything is with this free spirit, fun-loving, optimistic thinking, and it wants you to consider these factors. And I did a lot of research on today. I am going to read off my paperwork. You guys don't even know how much research I put into what I do. This isn't Annette's opinion. This is multiple resources making sure that I validate my opinion. I consider, Gemini energy, I'm a Gemini rising, so when I do research, I want to consider multiple sources, and then I validate them mentally, and then I incorporate them into my logical thinking. So I'm going to be reading, and you guys can just hate me if you want to. So many people are like, that's not intuitive. And I'm like, I don't fracking care, because I need logic to back up my intuition. Period. Bite me. So today you're going to deeply desire to make logical sense out of all of this emotional instability. You need to settle yourself in some way, but you won't get it because you are having all of this unstable energy. Uranian energy will support you being an individual. Somehow you want to individuate yourself, but making logical choices is going to be hard in unstable energy. Saturn is wanting to control and stabilize all of this mutable energy, but it will be almost impossible when we have a moon in critical Virgo, critical energy. Wanting us, it really is trying to ask us to stabilize our situation. It's, this moon is really stimulating our mental capacity to create some sort of ritual to stabilize all of it. But again, it may be just utterly futile because there's so much crazy energy. You may need to be honest with yourself about how unstable the routine or coping method is in your life. You really honestly need to acknowledge, again, often in mutable energy, it may be hard to be truthful with yourself. It may be hard to acknowledge that these are your limitations. Honestly, because when you have a mutable energy, if you're surrounding yourself, say you're a drug addict or an alcoholic. Well, what you do when you are those people is you surround yourself with people who drink and do drugs, right? And so it's your commonary lifestyle. It's the common thought process. It's what you surround yourself with. So it can be very difficult for you to say that there's anything wrong with a lifestyle when the group of friends that you've created support an unhealthy lifestyle. So that can be where some of this interpreting of information can be very hard, because you may have some people coming into your life that are coming into your life and giving you a different perspective. And it may be forcing you to acknowledge the fact that maybe what you're basing your opinion on or your perspective on is genuinely a collective opinion and not necessarily. And that is because you are surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are as sick as you are, or who have these coping methods that are not mentally the preferred coping methods, at least in a healthy lifestyle. So then we have Uranian energy. Okay, so Uranus is going in here wanting to individuate yourself. So you have mutable energy, right? Chameleon energy mixing with, you can't get more individuating than a fracking Uranian-based energy. Okay, I don't know if you've ever noticed any Aquarius, but they're quirky. They're the strongest form of individual person, if you surround yourself with a lot of Uranian thinkers, they are going to challenge you. First of all, they're going to try to control your opinion, right? These Aquarius. And then what they're going to do next is they're going to debate with you, and they're going to challenge your thinking. Amazing, stimulating people to surround yourself with, because you know what? You're going to fight back. You're going to be like, are you high? Like, that's a stupid opinion. And I'm going to tell you why. And they will bring out this individuated thinking in you. I say, if you want to know who you are, surround yourself with a few Aquarius. After you're done really getting close with these people, you're going to be like, okay, I know where my boundaries are. I know how to individuate myself, and I am not going to be controlled. These people are amazing to get to know. I surround myself with Aquarians all the time. They frustrate me. They make me want to freak out on them and beat them in the head. But inevitably, I'm so attracted to Uranian thinkers because guess what? They challenge me. They stimulate me. They help me mentally grow and become amazing people. Today is a crazy day. Crazy crackhead day. Crackhead thinker. That's what you're going to be. You're going to be like you're just smoked a bowl of crack, which I honestly have never, I don't do drugs at all. And I talk about it all the time because I see it in movies, but I actually don't do it because I'm such a square. I really am like this, really. I'm so Virgo. It's like, I would never. But you're going to feel like something is coming into your body and taking over your mental capacity, and you may not understand necessarily why you're doing or why you're involved in the situations or why you're having the stimulus that you're having. I can assure you it's to help you grow. It's to help you become something more. It's to challenge collective thinking, challenge opinion, and stimulate you in an amazing way. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.